Hello, grade 11, and welcome to our class right now, curfew slash lockdown edition here. Uh, I think this lesson's been a long time coming, and I want to give it to you last minute. Uh, and basically, this is going to be a quick lesson on MLA citation and bibliography, also known as a works cited page or reference page. These terms are used interchangeably. So this is I want to give you the rundown here real quick. So, and I'm going to use a PowerPoint based off of Purdue University. Okay. So let's get to citation here. So basically what I want to cover here is the bottom 2 points here. In-text citation and documenting your sources, such as a bibliography, or as MLA Citation calls it, a works cited page. Okay, so let's do it. So an in-text citation, I've gone over this with you before. It's a brief reference in your text that indicates that you consulted a source, that your idea or words are coming from somewhere else. Okay? So, in general, the in-text citation will be the author's last name with a page number. Okay? Or if you use the author's name to begin the sentence, for example, Williams stated that blah blah blah, you wouldn't have to write, the author's last name. You would just put the page number in parentheses because you've already used his name. And here are some examples, okay? So these are examples of in-text citation, okay? And if you look at the first sentence here, Wordsworth stated that Romantic poetry was marked by a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Okay? And as you see at right before the end of the sentence, they put in parentheses 263. And that means that this sentence, or this quotation right here, came from a guy named Wordsworth in his book or journal article from page 263. Okay? So let's go to the next sentence. Okay, look at how they cite it here. Romantic poetry is characterized by the, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, quote, parentheses, Wordsworth, 263. They put the author's last name in the parentheses because it was not stated at the beginning of the sentence, like they did in the previous sentence, if that makes sense. So the next sentence, the third and final sentence, you see here, there are no quotations. So this means that they paraphrased. So even though they're not directly quoting, they're paraphrasing what's in the quotes there. So they have to cite. So, they say Wordsworth extensively explored the role of emotion in the creative process. Cited page 263. And again, they don't have to put Wordsworth inside the parentheses of the citation because you're indicating the author in the sentence. Okay. So the point of this is what's at the very bottom here. This means that if I am interested in looking at this site, I can refer all the way into the back of the paper to what's the works cited page. And that's what you see at the very bottom of the page here. Wordsworth, comma, William, period, Lyrical Ballads, period, Oxford University Press, comma, 1967. That is a bibliographical example right here. This is how you would do it in the back of your paper. But the focus right now is in text. So when you're typing along, doing your paper, and you're citing somebody, you need to cite somebody or a source. This is how you do it. Just like this. Name and a page number, or if you use their name, the author's name in the sentence, you just have to put the page number. Okay, so you might have to ask the question, well, what if there's no author? Okay, so you're on a website and it's just the title of the article, or something like that. It doesn't have an author. There are solutions for this. Okay, so look at how this person cited this source that doesn't have an author. Basically, what you do is you just put, if you can see in the very bottom here, I don't want to read this entire quote, but basically when there's no author, you just put the first couple, words of the title of the work that you got it from, and then the page number. Okay, and you'll as you start to research more, you'll run into all kinds of different circumstances of, citation. You'll have a book with 2 authors, a book with 3 or more authors. You'll have a book with no, or you'll have a source with no authors, or you'll have volumes, editions, journal articles, things like this. So you just have to. It just takes a lot of practice, and you'll get you can almost, the more you do it, you'll be able to do it without even thinking. So that's basically for this entry here. This is the corresponding entry in the list of works cited, or this is what you would put in your bibliography. Notice how there's no author here. You just start off with the title, but don't worry about that right now. But the point is to let you know that when you're researching, that you'll run into different, it's not always straightforward who wrote the work and stuff like that. So this PowerPoint actually, has multiple situations for like in-text citation. See, it even gets into poetry and stuff here. We don't need to use that. So basically, we can now move on to the works cited, or what I refer to as the bibliography. So we covered in-text citation, what to do when you're actually citing a source in your paper, but that's not enough. You need to actually put the full source in the back of your paper, which is called a bibliography or works cited page, and there is a way to do it. Okay. There's a specific, I guess you could say, order of operations to do it, and it all depends on your type of source. Again, is it a book? Is it a journal article? Is it a website? Does it have an author? Does it not have an author? But one thing that is consistent in a works cited page or a bibliography, whatever you want to call it, is that it is ordered. So the elements are given in a specific order, and this specific order is always an alphabetical order by the author's last name. So you put the author's based on his last name, his or her last name, you order it in alphabetical order. So here are some examples of, if you were to use this source in text, you would have to put the full citation in the back of your paper. Let's look at this one. Let's look at Alan Jacobs here. So if you use Jacobs as a citation, you would have to put the full citation in your bibliography, and notice the order of how it goes. Okay, so right here, this is the author's last name, Jacobs. Jacobs, comma, space, Allen. So author's last name, a comma, and his first name, period. And as you can see here, The Pleasures of Reading in an Age of Distraction, that is the title of the book. So notice how it's formatted. You have the name, period, and then in italics and in capitals, where needed, you write the title of the book, period. The next part here, Oxford UP, this is the publisher. So this book has been published by Oxford University Press, which is a very good publishing source. So the publisher, comma, the year, period. So this book was published in 2011. So again, there's a specific order. The first order is alphabetical by author's last name, and there's an order in the way you organize the source in your bibliography. Last name, first name, period. Title of the book in italics, period. The publisher, comma, year, 2011, period. That's a specific order that you put it in, and the way to do it MLA style. Other styles have you do it a little bit different, but this is the most common that you'll run into, and usually most, for like freshman and sophomore university levels, they require you to do MLA style. Anyways, let's look at something else here. Here's an actual example of what a works cited page looks like. Notice a few things here. One, it is in alphabetical order. Two, they indent here. Okay, so here is the start of the source, Wyatt Buchanan. Okay, and then the next line is indented, indented, indented. What's not indented is the start of a new source. So you can see how it's easy to pick out where the next source starts. But the most important thing to know is it's going in alphabetical order. Buchanan, Kuntz. Look, here's a good example of something that doesn't have an author. So D comes after C, so the title of the work, Developments in the Law, blah, 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 comes next. And look, they got it off JSTOR. Then you just go down the line here. And this person used a lot of journal articles and websites to do their research. But anyways, that's kind of an idea of how you organize your works cited page. Alphabetical order, and a specific order of operations here in terms of writing your source down. So as we see here, this is like a good way. This is a good one, especially a book. So remember, you always start with the author's last name in the works cited page, and you just go down in alphabetical order. I hope that was helpful. If not, I can continue to try and give you examples and things like that. So hope everyone's doing okay, and hope to see you soon.